Hello, I welcome you to another edition of GIS for the Beginners. Today we are looking at enterprise GIS and spatial data sharing among different organizations or across different organizations. What is referred to as enterprise GIS is a sort of GIS data sharing mechanism among different units of a given organization or across different organizations. Usually in a government system, can have different MDAs that are data users and data producers. The way they exchange data from data users and data producers and the general public is what is referred to as spatial data sharing mechanism. And then it is implemented under the enterprise GIS. So this configuration, the architecture that is presented here is a typical example of enterprise GIS. We have the data producers, we have the feed edit data for crowdsourcing. We have the map producers and map users. We have the data and map producer product. And then we have the web publishing, which will allow the general public to have access to the data. So we have different group of people that implement different flavors of GIS in a typical environment. This architecture can be within a given organization, connecting different departments, or it can be across several organizations, and it can even be over the internet. So we have different approaches. One of them is spatially enabled information systems, in which case the databases are located differently in the sitting on different laptops or different computer systems or different servers, and they are connected through what we call virtual private network or through other systems of a network system. So you can also have enterprise GIS, which is a core GIS technology, in which case you can use PostGIS, you can use GeoServer, you can use ArcGIS server and things like that. But in this example that I want to show you, we are going to use TeamViewer, because we know that the licenses for most uh, enterprise GIS is very, very high. And then the technology to implement it is always also not very common, especially in the third world countries, in the developing countries. So I'm going to use TeamViewer to implement something like enterprise GIS. The bottom line is that they want to share data, want to share spatial data from different organizations. So I'm going to use this. This is a TeamViewer. This is a typical example of TeamViewer. TeamViewer is a system that enable you to connect computers, different computers, to be connected in the network system. The only thing you need in this one is to have to have internet facility on your system, and that other system you want to remotely connect, you also must have internet facility. So I'm going to connect to a system. You have once you load the TeamViewer will show you your ID and your password. So you must also know the ID and the password of the other system you want to fetch data from. So usually when you are it depends on the kind of licenses you have. If you are in a 200 license or 300 license, it's in the grade of 200 users license, 300 user license, and 500 user licenses. So if you have license that support 300, that means you have 300 group of people units that can be connected to your system. So in this case now, we want to fetch GIS data from another system which is remotely connected. It can be in another town, it can be in another country, it can be in another city, it can be another desk in your organization. So what you just need to do is to have the TeamViewer ID and a password of that computer. In this case now, I'm going to I'm going to link to another system, and this that system has an ID which I want to, which is 174.0.062.136. That is the TeamViewer ID of that. So I'm going to connect, and I will say I want to do file transfer. That means I want to exchange files. I want to fetch file from that system, and then the password for that computer is what 55. Yeah. So you log on, and once you log on, then the other guy in the other system will also know that you are already logged on. So now this is the system that is remote. The remote system is here, and this is my system. So what I want to do is to fetch some data from this system, from the remote system, so that I can bring it to my system, so that I can use it on my own GIS. So I go to this, and I'm looking at existing database. I have data. These are spatial data on the airport, education facility, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to fetch some data here. I want to put this data, airport, and the building with flood risk. These two files I'm going to copy. These are shape files which can be used for GIS facility. So I will come here, and I want to put it on classwork. This is the folder I want to put it. So I want to receive it. So let me go back. This is a big file. So but let me pick proposed plan, and I move it to this. So it's going there. It's going. So you wait until it comes. It's going to take some time because it's an heavy file. But what I've done is to bring in the file from the remote system. Maybe it's possible that you have the database sitting down in a given, it can even be server, or it can be a workstation. It can be in the storage location where the data can be updated, can be improved upon. So once you need it on your desk, you need the database on your desk. So you just come, and then once you are, I'm going to pause it so that I can allow you to finish up, and then I can continue. Yeah, it has completed. It has completed, and you can now browse to see whether you have the folder, what I exported, what I imported from the remote computer was a proposed plan, and I brought it in there so I can look for it to be sure that the file is on my system. So either you can check it from here, or you go to the system directly, come to my system through the Explorer, and under this Explorer you can check whether I have the data on my system. Now is there proposed plan. Let me sort the it. Okay. Where is proposed plan? This is the folder I imported from the remote data set, remote computer. Now I have this data on my system. I can now go to my ArcGIS or any of the software, GIS software you have there. So you don't need to use ArcGIS server, because ArcGIS server is a very expensive software. I can go into the range of $55,000, or if you want to, it's very expensive. But you can implement this if you have ArcGIS on your system. So, and you have your data in another computer, remote computer. So you can implement it through the TeamViewer. I already have the data set on my system, which was fetched from a remote computer. It's very far from here. So you can now load your ArcGIS, the one on your desktop ArcGIS, and then you can open that file there and can do whatever you want to do on that system. You can even use, since it's a shapefile, you can even use QGIS to implement the same thing. Now you open ArcGIS. You know, we have done some work. We have removed our. You can actually stop this. You can actually stop this, and then you can now load your data that you have brought the from the from the from the remote system. So that's how you can now you can connect to the data. The data is a proposed plan, and proposed plan was the folder we imported from. Yeah, you navigate to the data you imported, and that's proposed plan. So proposed plan, these are the data we imported. So let's just open 3, the folder, and we are good to go. Remember, we copied this system from a remote computer system, and then you can use it. That's how you can implement enterprise GIS in another approach. This is the simplest approach using the TeamViewer. TeamViewer enables you to access a remote computer. Then you can ask, what are the security measures put in place to ensure that when you are bringing data from that system to your system, you are not bringing in virus, or you are not introducing virus to the other system. So what we can do is to ensure that you have a very powerful antivirus on the two systems, the remote system and the one you have, so that you don't introduce viruses into it. This is the simplest approach to implement enterprise GIS with a low budget. With this one, you can implement this enterprise GIS in such a way that does not require you to install ArcGIS server or even a Geo server. It's very simple, and it is easy to work. Thank you for watching.